Like if Enduro ends next year, then I'm like, oh, like, yeah, if it just stops at the end of this year,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can go and race downhill and stuff, but I don't really know, like, I wouldn't know how that situation navigates itself.
Let's talk a bit about the state of the racing and everything. I mean, you're clearly a massive fan as well as a rider. I think when we sat down in Innerleithen, you sent out like a survey monkey around all the enduro riders, looking at like what does everyone want enduro to be, because it feels like it's almost always been in a constant state of change and flux as it works out what it is. And it felt like in 23 it started really well. Like Medina and Derby were hyped. There was pretty good coverage. The vibe sounded really good. And then that really seemed to start to change as it moved into Europe.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's tricky. Like, it's definitely like the way I see it, it's the ugly duckling at the moment.
That's a shame.
Yeah, which is a huge shame, because when you're at the race, the racing is like top notch.
Yeah, it's next level.
It's next level. It's competitive. There's new guys coming in. Just the level is super high, but no one can see it.
Yeah,
no one can watch it. And then the negative press that comes around that, it kind of like keeps like pushing it down.
Yeah,
when really we want to be building it up. And yeah, I don't know how do you solve it, and it's got to come from the top. But at the moment, it's definitely, it feels like it's getting pushed to the side.
Yeah,
which is a huge shame.
Yeah. Do you feel like as a rider it's kind of impacted your value? Like, I feel like enduro riders, unless they're, and which you've done and Jack's done, unless they've been pushing hard on like the YouTube side or the social media side, they're like, I don't know if you counted their impressions across all the media from 22 and then 23, it feels like 23 was quite a lot lower, because you've got these joint events and downhill and cross country, these like halo events that get a lot of the media attention, and enduro as a result was getting less. Like, does that put you in a tricky place?
Yeah, it does, because well, you're in that unknown. Like if Enduro ends next year, then I'm like, oh, like, yeah, if it just stops at the end of this year,
yeah,
like, yeah, I can go and race downhill and stuff, but I don't really know, like, I wouldn't know how that situation navigates itself. You would try and put together something that provides the most value, with what you can do. But yeah, there's definitely a big element of unknown in that. Which I've seen, countless riders go through this year, and they're not here.
Yeah, which is a massive shame.
Yeah, like one of my good friends, Cole, like the year before he was top 10 at every race, and then didn't have the best year last year, and then Ibis, the team he was riding for, like, folded. Well, not like, you don't call it folded, but like disbanded. Yeah. And yeah, he's just been realistic. It's like there's an oversupply of riders, and it just trickles down the pecking order, and you've got like really good guys who are out of a job. So Cole's like, yeah, I've just, maybe this is where I look to what comes next. Yeah. Which is a massive shame.
It is.
And if that had been 2020, 19, 21, the story would be completely different. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, doing, the riders can, you can only bring in, at least like doing the vlogs and stuff, it puts eyeballs on the sport.
Massively.
And it means that core fans can follow it. Yeah. So it definitely helps. So the more like that riders can do, at least keeps giving it some traction.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm definitely not seeing much investment when it comes from the top. Yeah. In terms of media and from what it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like I don't think it's very hard to send a guy with an iPhone to the end of the stage and be like, Jesse, you're currently winning the stage, but you've just taken a crash. You know,
Yeah,
give me 20 seconds.
Yeah, and iPhones these days are so good that you can
follow the race.
Yeah,
because like it's a discipline that's hard to follow, but you know they were doing a hell of a lot better job.
Well, Rick was doing that, right?
Yeah.
It was going to the bottom of the stages,
there was definitely a heyday.
Yeah,
and I always like speculate. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened without COVID.
Yeah,
because the 2020 season was shit hot. You know, we had 2 rounds in South America, round in America, a round in Canada, 4 rounds in Europe. Like it was a World Series, more so than any of the other World Cups.
Yeah.
And it was like that the year before, you know, and so it would, speculating. I think it would have. It was really on, you know, getting a lot of traction. And I remember like you'd be at the downhill race and guys would be like, oh, which one's a good one? Which one should I come back? Which one should I come and race? And nowadays, anyone want to come to an enduro cricket?
It's going the other way, right? I've seen Jack and Richie both on downhill bikes. Like, do we know if we're going to see them at any races?
I don't think Jack's planning on racing.
Okay.
I don't think he's planning on racing, but like you'd have to get that from him.
Yeah.
I think Richie's planning on doing a few.
Nice.
But like those two, they started out downhillers, and there's so much value in riding a downhill bike.
Yeah.
Just for speed training, and safety. It's way safer rallying a downhill bike on a fast track than it is a trail bike.
Yeah, you've got a bit more suspension to get you out of trouble.
You can go just as fast on the trail bike, but eventually it's going to bite back.
Do you think we'll see more riders cross over from enduro to downhill?
I don't know. I'd love to see like Jesse. Like Jesse, like he lays it out.
Yeah,
you know, he hangs.
Wild,
he hangs it out. I'd love to see Jesse like come and race a World Cup.
Yeah.
Or race a few, like, you know, because sometimes it takes a little while. But anyone who's riding at the top has the skills.
Yeah.
And you get so much bike time. You've got good fitness, and you pick up speed really quick. So you might get 5 runs here. So, but when you're used to going quick on 2, it is actually super helpful.